Episode number 91 with Marc Alioto. Welcome to the Heads Up Poker Podcast. This is Steve Barton, and thank you for tuning in. I have with me today the man, the myth, the legend, Marc Alioto. Thank you for coming on, Marc.
That's a much better intro than I've ever gotten in my life. I appreciate that. Thank you.
You like that one, huh?
Yeah, I'll do as many podcasts as you want.
Well, thank you, man. What's up, man? How you been? How's DFS going?
No, things have been good. Got back from the series. Was playing a lot online and been doing a lot of DFS. Yeah, things have been going well. I'm trying to balance. It's hard to do both. Because I think it's really hard to be like really good at both. Like it's just, they're both time consuming.
You mean DFS and poker?
DFS and poker, yeah. Which daily fantasy sports for people that may not know. Got a lot of similar traits to poker, to online poker. But yeah, it's hard to do both and be great at them because just how much time you put into both of them. So
yeah,
I'm trying to be good at both. I mean, I still think no matter like poker wise, like, I mean, I've been playing, I haven't been playing as much, but I mean, not to be cocky or anything, but the edge is still there. I'm fine.
Yeah, no, you're pretty fucking good. Well, which one do you enjoy more?
Right now, DFS, but I go back and forth.
Okay.
I think with poker, I was just so passionate about it for 10 years, and I kind of, I sacrificed a lot to get good.
Oh, yeah.
So, now my passion's slowly heading towards DFS because right now I'm not beating it. Like, I'm not beating baseball. I did well in NBA. But that kind of drives me to get better at it. And I see the light, like, it's less stressful. You don't sit as much. You can take breaks.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things that DFS offers that online poker, at least playing MTTs, doesn't have.
And you get to watch a lot of sports.
Which I would do anyway. I would just be betting games and losing money that way. But no, I've definitely gotten a lot better with DFS. I mean, I still love poker, and I think I like coaching more than I actually like playing these days. But in order to be a good coach, you still have to play. So I'm making it a point to play. I mean, if I'm not playing tournaments, I mean, I'll still play heads up, sit and goes just to stay fresh. Tournaments is, you play them, you know how it is. It's a 12-hour day.
It is, yeah. It's a freaking grind, and it's like Mike. He was just out in Vegas. He's driving home right now, and he played I think 3 tournaments. He cashed in one, and he got 8. He's like, man. He's like, I think I won like $100 or something. It's like, oh yeah, it gets so close, and then
live poker is a whole nother ballgame because now we're talking about travel expenses.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, food, whatever you got to eat anyway, but like just hotels.
Yeah, but you're much more likely to eat out when you're playing live.
Oh, that's true. Yeah,
that's like
course.
Probably
that's
5 times the cost of just barbecuing at home or something.
Exactly, and like I'm all for poker. I just think playing professionally full time, I think has passed me. I think I'm over that. I don't think I want to do that anymore. Which is like somewhat disappointing to me because I feel like I was peaking, and then as soon as I started peaking, I was just like, well, you know what? Like, this just isn't healthy. I mean, and since I've toned down on poker, I've started exercising. I've done a lot of good things to better my life. So,
well, you know what? Everyone that I've had on the podcast that made their living from poker have all kind of said that. They said, that once they kind of, how can I put it? Like they had to devote so much of their life to just mastering and becoming really good at this game that a lot of other parts of their life kind of suffered. But you know what? All the greats, they all have that common thread and that common story was that they they just had to delve so much into this that they wouldn't have a girlfriend. Like everything revolved around
Oh
poker.
yeah, I mean, girlfriend was never even in the car. Like I had one, and the second we broke up,
Yeah.
I got good.
Yeah.
It's tough to balance, and I mean, and I listen to a lot of podcasts too, and like the common theme is, and I'm not as good as a lot of these, greats that crush stars and all that stuff, but listening to them talk about why they left the game, it scared me a little bit, and like definitely kind of pushed me to where I'm going now. Like, I'm still always going to play, but I mean, shit, man, like just thinking back 5, 6 years ago when I was playing like damn near almost 7 days a week with like no social life. I mean, that sacrifice isn't worth the reward. But that is what it takes to get really good at something, unfortunately.
It is.
Yeah. Or at least poker.
Well, you know what? Do you think you're saying that you may not be a professional poker player like your whole life, but would you say that you're going to be a professional gambler your whole life?
No. I'm going to do what I'm going to go to where I can make money. Whatever I feel is the best decision for me to make money, I'm going to do. And I think DFS is that right now. I think
that's still professional gambling.
Oh, yeah. But that's just right now.
Yeah.
I mean, that's like, you're not going to hear me.
It could be real estate in 10 years. You don't know.
Yeah, and that's gambling, though, too.
It is, yeah. It's a fun gamble.
Yeah. I mean, basically anything you do in life is a gamble. But, I mean, if there was like a 9, I don't think I could work a 9 to 5 unless, like.
I can't picture you doing that, yeah.
Don't ever see that happening. I want to do what I want to do when I want to do it.
Yeah.
I don't like people telling me what to do, but as long as I'm making money to stay comfortable and, put some money in the bank, I'm happy. Like, whether that's gambling, I mean, I imagine it's going to be gambling because, fuck, I'm a degenerate. I love gambling. I mean,
we all do, dude. Everyone listening to this podcast loves gambling.
Yeah. I mean, and I'm not afraid to call it an addiction because gambling is, a pretty bad addiction, but we're lucky enough to have been able to make money gambling.
You just got to make sure you're on the 55% most of the time. That's what it is.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm open to anything though, Steve. I don't, if something came up that had nothing to do with gambling and I felt like I would really enjoy it and could see myself doing it, I'd do it for sure. Yeah. Even if it was for less money, if I enjoyed it. I mean, I'm basically doing that right now by going to DFS. I mean, my hourly isn't even close.
Yeah.
But I do see the future as being a bit brighter than poker right now, especially since I'm all over the place right now.
No, it's good.
But no, I do think there's one thing that could bring me back to playing poker. Maybe not like 7 days a week full time, but maybe 4 or 5 and then study. I mean, I'm still studying every week, which is funny to me. And I haven't played in a couple, but I've been studying like 3 or 4 times a week.
Nice.
If poker was legalized in California, that would be.
You mean stars?
It doesn't have to be stars.
just a big one, yeah.
I mean, stars preferably, yeah. But at any site, like any sites where I could get a 1099 and yeah. I mean, dude, just paying taxes with poker is a nightmare. Like when I was trying to get a home, that was a nightmare. There's so many things. Like poker is great, but like just fucking legalize it so
yeah
we can get all these like it would make everyone's life so much easier.
True.
But yeah, that could be a draw. I mean, I know you would be excited about that too.
Oh god, I'd be doing freaking backflips, and I can't even do backflips.
You've seen me. I obviously probably can't do it either. But I'd try it. Probably both break our neck. And
yeah, exactly. We bare minimum, we're fucking up one of our ankles.
Yeah, that would be good if that was the but yeah, I mean, poker's gotten a lot tougher too. I mean, you got to really shop around on these U.S. sites. Like, I mean, winning is a tough site. Like,
it is.
Winning, it's basically a European site now. All the Euros have come because
they figured it out. Yeah.
Well, the rake's better than stars. The games are slowly getting just as good as stars, like guarantee-wise. So for U.S., like, I mean, if you're really trying to make money, like, you got to go to some of the shit sites, and you don't even know if you're going to get your money.
Yeah, True.
I mean, Bovada's still there.
Well, it's ignition poker now.
Yeah. I don't. I still think it's owned by Bovada, and I don't see it being a problem. Bovada's always been really good.
Okay.
That's just my opinion. Don't quote me on that.
What are some other softer sites that are, like you said, you take a gamble, but it's a lot softer?
I mean, depending on what buy-ins you play, like, I mean, I'll play on Carbon. Like, Carbon's doing Bitcoin transfers right now.
Oh, I've got one Bitcoin.
You're set. You should sit on that though. Bitcoin's fun. Like that's a big. So you're more of a gambler than me. I bought Bitcoin once at like 260 and it went down to like 190 and I like sold in like 5 days. I was like, that's it.
Yeah.
And if I sat on it, I'd be loving life right now.
I bought mine at 420 or 450. I can't remember. And last I checked it. Well, Derek told me about it and it was up to like 650. And then I checked again. I think like a week ago and it was at 5 something.
I literally check every day. Yesterday, I think it was 575. I'm like really interested in Bitcoin. I think it's.
Yeah, I don't know. When I bought it, I had in mind, I'm like, okay, this is, 4.25 or 4.5, whatever. And I'm just going to sit on this thing. And this is either going to work and this is going to take over the world and it's going to be worth 18 grand or it's going to be worth zero. But that was my thought. I thought it probably had a maybe 9 or 10% chance of just fucking skyrocketing, and I thought, well, my odds are pretty good. Let's go for it.
Well, and you know what? If you're not going to care about losing the 420, why not? Like, that could 10x.
You're right. Yeah, it could.
I think it's a calculated gamble, and I don't think you're ever going to lose it all anyway.
You're probably right. I have heard that Bitcoin is slowing down because the more the computers mine for it, the harder it becomes. So, but then another side of the coin I'm thinking is that computers are only getting better and faster, and we're probably not that far away from those biological computers. I don't know. Maybe it will become profitable to mine them.
Derek's son was mining them for a little bit, but the problem is the electricity bill was so expensive where it was like barely profitable, not worth it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I've read some articles on it. Bitcoin's really interesting to me because it's kind of like legal money laundering almost.
It is, yeah.
At least it feels that way, especially with poker because all the sites offer it now. So I'm like pulling off my money, filtering it into another site, like finding a bonus on another site. Like, man, and it's so easy. Like some of the sites are paying in like 5 hours.
Wow.
Carbon's like 2 weeks, which is fine. That's better.
Yeah.
But you usually can find someone to buy it too. And not that I'm trying to dodge paying taxes. That's not my goal. It's just, it does make that easy if I want to.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I'd rather get 1099 and give me my money instantly. Like, I'm fine. Like, that would be.
Dude, you don't got to justify that. I keep so many fucking receipts for my Amazon business and everything. If there's any way I could possibly write it off, I do. That's the game. That's the game that the government makes you play, and whatever. I think it'd be a lot simpler if they just said, okay, everyone, a quarter of your paycheck is going to us. Like, I would be fine with that.
And no write-offs. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
no write-offs, none of that shit. I'd be like, sold, I'm done.
My roommate said the same thing 3 weeks ago, and I was like, sign me up for that. Like,
I'd be down. That's fair across the board, whether you're a billionaire or a millionaire or, guys like us. Everyone's paying the same. You know what I mean? And you don't have to play this fucking game of like, learning all the little tricks to, oh, okay, well, my wife, if I put her under the business and make her, second in command, then we can get her a 401k account, and then we don't have to pay taxes on that. And, you know what I mean? Like, all that shit just goes away.
So many, like, just write-offs are absurd. You can write off everything.
I know.
Like, everything. And I didn't know this when I was younger. And then I got a little wiser when I was like, oh shit, I can start writing off one of my rooms that I'm renting. Like, I can write off my...
This is my business office, yeah.
No, and shit, like with poker, it's so easy to, you could be like, oh, I went to the casino, that's $20 in gas, and I lost $700. If they just, even if they tax us at the casino, any amount you win, maybe they make it less, not 5K, they make it like 2K or something. Like, I wouldn't care. Like, I'd rather have everything in paper. So when I went to get a loan for a home, it was like that. It didn't take me a month and a half, and I had to go through 2010 pay stubs.
Yeah.
I mean, shit. I'm with you though. Sign me up for the 25%.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
That should be enough to keep us in war and fix the streets and all that shit, right?
Oh God. Yeah. Seriously.
Oh,
So tell me about you. Have you been playing at all? How's your poker been going?
It's been going pretty slow actually lately. I just got promoted at work. I haven't played in about.
Congratulations.
Thank you, man. Thank you. It's I'm like a rookie all over again. I go in and I have a whole new job. I got a whole new crew, learning leadership, and it's a blast though. Everything's fun.
Wait, so like you're sergeant now? Is that what it is?
Captain. It's
Captain.
The ranks go fireman, engineer. So there's fireman, engineer. He drives, and then there's captain on.
I guess you
each
can't
rank.
be a sergeant as a firefighter.
That's a police term.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So yeah. Okay.
I don't know how their ranking system goes, but yeah, dude, it's fun. It's fun. I mean, like I was so unchallenged as a fireman. I've been doing it for 15 years. I mean, like it just there was nothing really kind of got my blood going. But now even like simple little calls like medical calls and stuff like that, I'm excited and I want to go and it's fun to me.
Yeah,
cool.
see, that's cool. Like, I think it's really important to be passionate about what you do. And I think that's why, like, guys like you and I that need that rush, we go to poker or, like, daily fantasy and stuff like that.
Yeah.
We live for that rush. And I don't think it's not necessarily a bad thing. It's just a bad thing if you abuse it and, like, you're losing money and you, like, don't leave the house and you're 500 pounds. Like, shit like that. That's when it's bad. But I think it's okay to live for that rush. Like, I'm not a type of guy that wants to skydive or anything.
Yeah.
But I need something to, like, get my juices flowing. Like, mainly competitive stuff for me gets it going.
Me too. Yeah, I was going to say some people get it from jumping out of a plane and others do it from, snorting heroin or whatever. We just do it by putting large sums of money on the line with small advantages and edges and hope that it works out in the long run.
You know what? It's pretty close to what I'd rather do, snort heroin or jump off a fucking plane. I don't know what I'd do first. And maybe that says something about me. But, like, I don't know if I could jump out of a plane, and I'm sure I could put something in my nose. Not that I'd want to do it, but if I was forced, I may fucking take the heroin, man. That's bad. I shouldn't say that.
I jumped out of a plane on my 18th birthday. I wanted to do it, and I did it. And it wasn't tandem either. There was no one attached to me, and there was a jump master right next to me, kind of holding onto my arm as we went down. And then I pulled, and man, there is no more of a scary or sobering thought, because when you're free falling, everything's just kind of serene and the ground is slowly getting closer, but it's happening so gradually because you're so high that you don't really notice it, And then when you finally pull the ripcord, all of a sudden, ba-boom!
That's when you get pulled right up, right?
Oh yeah, you slow down so fast, and then you're looking up and you're still a mile above the earth, and you look down and you see this little field where you're supposed to land in, and all you have are these two little toggles to go left and right and kind of circle. And I remember looking up at the parachute, and everything looked good. It was all beautiful and open, with its pretty colors. And there's these two fucking straps coming down to it, and they're attached to my shoulders. And I thought, this is the only thing that's separating me from death right now.
Yeah,
are these two fucking pieces of webbing.
That doesn't feel normal.
Oh, my God. Just talking about it now, I could feel my heart's going. It was, I have no desire to do it again, though. I did it once. That was fucking cool, and I'm good, man.
You're a better man than me. See, I have a bad experience with stuff in the air. So, actually, when I was a lock pro, fuck that site. You stole me money. You owe a lot of my friends money. We were in France, and she set up this hot air balloon thing, our boss.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't want to go, but like everyone was like, "Come on, man, it's gonna be fun." So I was like, "Fine." And I was gonna go with a couple of my buddies from England, but then like the Portuguese, I'm good friends with them all. So I went up with the Portuguese guys, and we're doing okay, but like we're all kind of freaking the fuck out.
Yeah.
Mainly one of my buddies is really freaking out, and like this guy's like right above the tree and like going down and like touching the top of the tree. And we're just like, dude, like,
oh my God,
we're freaking out. And so like we're to the point like, I mean, it's going fine. I'm not looking down. I'm like, it was miserable to me the whole time.
How big was it?
I mean, it held 2, 4, 7 of us. I think it could have held maybe 8, 10.
Usually there's 8-seaters, or I'm trying to think of a 10-seater. Did it have 2 engines or one or?
I think 2 actually.
Okay, probably
maybe
10.
one big one. I can't remember.
Okay.
I was hungover as shit in my defense.
Oh God, that doesn't help.
So anyways, like we're up there and like it's not. People are freaking out. He has to do an emergency landing because someone that I'm with is really can't handle it. They're freaking the fuck out. So we land in this guy's like. He has like all these pigs, it's like a miniature farm, and we land in that like.
Wow.
We had a small narrow. And I was just like, you know what? Why did I do this? Like, I didn't want to do this. Like, so yeah.
Was that part of the trip? I mean, did they tell you that they're going to buzz trees and?
Oh no! That was literally just like an emergency landing because, like, I mean, it was like probably a lightweight panic attack that the guy was having.
Yeah, okay.
It was scary. I mean, I felt bad for him, like, and I was kind of freaking out too.
Yeah.
But not to that extent. And like,
yeah,
man. So like, I'm pretty cool up jumping off planes. Give me the heroin.
Well, how was I think the last time we talked, at least verbally, was in Vegas. You won an ACR 40K. And then you played. How many live tournaments did you play?
I played 7 this year, which is way under what I wanted to play. But with the TPE booth,
yeah.
And actually, like the reason why I didn't see you is I got fucking like really sick.
Yeah.
And so did the whole house did. I don't even want to say what. I mean, I may as well like say so. The 4th of July, we go out for Derek's birthday. Like, not even crazy.
I missed that one, yeah.
Yeah, like, were you not in you went with your brother, right?
Yeah, we were in Laughlin.
Yeah, so we went out and, like, we're like, all right, let's just go. We went to a brewery because, that's what KB wants to do. So we went there and we're having, like, 1 or 2. And, like, we're like, all right, like, let's go. And then the 2 girl bartenders show up and they're very cute.
Of course.
They start drinking. We start drinking.
Only natural.
Long story short, like, we're back at the house barbecue, and everyone's, like, going to bed. Me and Dylan go, like, no, we're not going to bed. So we go out, go to a couple places, find our way to PT's. It's 2 a.m, and, like, I'm sitting there stumbling. I'm like, I'm going home.
You're just doing the circle in the bar stool?
Yeah. I mean, I didn't pay the bill. Like, I just walked. No, but they were, like, Dylan was still there, so they paid it. It was bad. Anyway, so, like, I go home and, like, whatever, I just conk out. Wake up in the morning. I start throwing up. Not good. And, like, I start to feel sick. And
oh, God.
So whatever, like, time goes by. Main event comes up and, like, just still not better and, like, feeling like shit. Like, so didn't play the main event, which sucked. Like, so from, like, the 5th on, I didn't play a tournament, which... I played some online stuff, but I came back, long story short, and, like, I burnt my esophagus from when I was throwing up that night.
Oh, God, just all the stomach acid?
Yeah, which, I mean, it's just, I kind of deserved it. And it's been a blessing in disguise, actually, because, like, I started running because my stomach was just fucked up.
Yeah.
So I started running. I quit vaping. I mean,
wow, good for you, man.
Yeah, well, dude, I'm day 5 now.
Okay.
I'm doing the Nicorette. So yeah, and I quit coffee actually, like, and I've had like maybe 2 drinks since I've been back. I'm not a big drinker anyways. Just Vegas brings it out.
Yeah.
Shocker. But yeah, man, it sucked. Like, I wanted to play more because I still do. No matter what I'm doing in my life, I'm still going to make it a point to get to the series.
Yeah, me too. I have to go every year. It's so much fun.
Yeah, seeing all my buddies, like you guys, Mike, then the TPE guys. I mean, it's a blast. And, like, yeah, so I want to play more. I had 1 cash. I actually won my shootout table, which was nice.
Nice.
Something I had never done. in the 4 times I tried. So that was cool.
That's cool. Now you got a shootout. You got to win first, and then you got to win first again, and then you got to win first again, and then you win the tournament, right?
Then you win a break. Yeah. So win 2 tables, you make a final table.
That's insane. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's cool too because very rarely live do you get in a spot where you're 3-handed and then head up.
Yeah.
For obvious reasons, it's just not easy.
And that's right up your alley too, with your sit and go background.
Yeah, and then playing a lot of head up too. Like, I mean, I ran well when we got head up, but I mauled the guy. I mean, I destroyed him. Like, very rarely will you hear me say stuff like that too. But I destroyed this guy. He had me like 5-1, and then within like an hour, like I was winning every pot. Like, so that was good. Going into day 2. My table was really tough. I mean, I had G. Boro, Sophia Lovegren, who is she's a good player. I mean, she's just kind of hard not to look at.
Yes, easy on the eyes.
Yeah, thank you. That's what I was looking for. I don't think that's bad that I say that, right? I mean,
no, it's a compliment. I hope she's listening. That's make her feel good.
I don't want to blame her, but I think she distracted me. No, I'm kidding. Played well, made a couple mistakes, but overall I was happy with how Vegas went. TPE stuff went well.
Good.
That online tournament that I won was nice. It was a good score. Yeah, I had fun. I got to see all my friends. Just getting sick part was stupid, but
yeah, live and learn.
Yeah.
Live and learn.
But yeah, so you though, I've been playing much online. You were getting into, what have you been up to other than the job?
Let's see. The job, Amazon business is kind of that's been taking a little. I mean, I shouldn't say that. I got a UPS guy coming today to pick up like 15 or 20 boxes, so that'll be a good shipment.
Nice.
That's going good. I'm trying to automate it a little bit more. Trying to get plug other guys in. I just haven't had the time. And then the last time I played poker was about a week and a half ago. But
so you're kind of on the.
I'm kind of on the same page you are. Yeah, I got a session scheduled in a couple of days, and I'm gonna spend the whole day. I can't wait. I'm like that caged tiger that's just ready to fucking. I need to make sure I'm calm before I play because sometimes it's like going out when you go fishing. The first few casts you're just casting in stupid spots and just ridiculous just because you haven't fished in a while. But
it's fun. Yeah, it's funny how much more enjoyable. Well, I guess it's not funny, but I mean it's so much more enjoyable when you don't play for a while.
It is, yeah. It doesn't feel like quite such a grind,
Yeah, which is obviously an amazing feeling.
Yes.
Because if you're doing it every day, it becomes a job. And like, not that I dreaded playing, but it was like, okay, time to reg up. Like, whereas now when I play, once or twice a week, sometimes maybe just once a week, I'd say, I get like really excited. Like I feel like I play much better. So there's a lot of good things that come with taking time off.
There is, yeah. It we were texting. I don't remember if it was last night or the night before, and I was kind of I was a little like flattered and kind of confused at the same time, because I got a random text from you, and I don't remember exactly what you said, but I remember thinking to myself, I do look pretty damn good in a nice pair of jeans, and but pretty quickly you let me know that the text wasn't for me, it was, and I kind of felt relieved and disappointed at the same time, because relieved because it might have made for an awkward podcast today, but also disappointed because now I'm wondering if maybe I'm not like the hot piece of ass that I thought I was. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, I get it. And I knew you were going to fucking use this because I gave the okay. And I knew it would be good for the podcast. So, yeah. So one of the things I've been in last 2 months, I've been on this Tinder thing, which is like, it's whatever. It's fun.
Dude, I am so fucking jealous because like when I was single, it was all like the new shit was Match.com and stuff like that. Now correct me if I'm wrong. Like you see their face, you sign up and everything, and you have a profile, and you see a picture of them. And if they're not attractive to you, you swipe to the left, and if they are, then you swipe to the right. Is that it?
Yeah,
dude, that is so fucking genius and simple.
Yeah, and you know what? Like, I mean, whatever. Let's face it. Like, looks are important, but like, I mean, I'm actually like trying to meet chicks, and like I want to hang out. Like, so like you see what they have a little profile. And I'm pretty generous with my swipes. I'm not too picky because I don't think I can be. But
Everyone can be picky, man.
yeah, it's fun. Like, so last night when you're like reminding me of the podcast, I'm like, yeah, and I'm talking to this girl.
Yeah.
I actually told her that I did this too to you. I was like, oh. And I was looking at her Facebook. I call it Facebook stalking.
Yeah.
I'm very open about it. I told her, I'm like, I'm going to stalk you now on Facebook. And yeah, like, I fucking message you something. I'm like, whoops.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fuck me.
That's funny.
I was like, you know what? Use it. It's fun. But yeah, no, I mean, Tinder is interesting. I never was big on online dating. I never tried it. And then finally I was like, you know what? I work from home. Like, I'm not going to meet any chicks sitting in my room. Like, at least I can start talking to chicks again. You know
dude, technology is amazing.
Yeah.
Steve Jobs was right when he took the stage and he held up the iPhone and he said, "This is going to change everything." And he was fucking right.
Yeah,
it has.
Absolutely.
Amazing. It makes me wonder what are we going to see? Well, hopefully we make it to 80, but what are we going to see, 40 years from now?
Oh,
That, I mean, there's shit you can't even possibly think of,
I'm just happy that we've gone through my whole life. I'll snort heroin. I'm scared of heights.
Yeah.
I'm on Tinder, and I threw up and burnt my esophagus. So come sign up at Tournament Poker Ads.
Yes. I remember when I first got to the TPE house and I saw you for the first time in like a year. I was like, oh, dude, I took your advice. I did the Elliot row, and the first thing you said, you're all, did you cry? like kind of looking for that, like, it's okay, right? I'm like, yes. Yeah, I fucking cried like a baby.
No, I think that's just, you know me, like I'm just fucking super open. I don't really give a shit about.
Me too.
Like,
I've embarrassed myself far more times on this podcast than I could possibly count.
Yeah, and I think that's good though. I think that's why you and I get along, because we're like, we don't give a shit about anything we do. Like, we're open about it. I have Elliot today, actually.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I've been using him quite a bit. Because even like without poker, he still does wonders for me, and I think he would do wonders for anyone.
Yeah, he's good.
Yeah, I love him. Like, fuck, and I'd be crazy without. I'd probably be an insane asylum without. Yeah,
he is good.
I'm happy. You said you loved him too. You said you had a really good experience.
Oh, I did. It was. I had I was feeling anxiety every time I got to a final table, and I've listened to his final table MP3s and stuff, and I think they helped. But when I did the session with him, what I was doing, it's kind of embarrassing to admit it, but once I got to a final table, I was cracking a beer, and I was like, I know this is fucking stupid. Like, at the one time I need to be focused, at the final table, that's when I'm just handcuffing myself, And so we did a session on it, and it turned out it related to back when I was 2.5. I had a brother that died when I was really young. He only lasted about 3 months. But I remember sitting in the chair, and I was holding him, and my mom was telling me that he was really sick, and I could tell my mom and dad were kind of sad, and that was one of the last times I saw him. And that somehow related to anxiety at final tables. And every final table I've been since then, I haven't even thought of cracking a beer.
Wow.
It was amazing.
I didn't. You didn't tell me. We talked about this. I don't remember you. I mean, this was like you just had the session. That's amazing.
It really was
like that.
It really was.
Yeah,
it was
Elliot's
cool.
really good at because everything that happens whenever we get anxious, whether it's poker or daily life, it goes back to something in our childhood, and he finds what that is. And once you know what it is, there's a certain amount of like pressure relieved, like you're just at ease.
Yeah.
It's funny you mentioned the beer, because when I get anxious too, just in anything, like if I'm going out, like if I have one beer, I like even just one, I like feel okay. That's bad though.
Yeah.
Because we should be able to do it without it. And that's why I use them so much, because the goal is to just never feel anxious where I need to have a beer or,
Yep. I get the same. I'm curious if it'll transfer over to pool now because my buddy and I, when we go on vacation every year, there's inevitably we find ourselves in a bar with a pool table. I used to have a pool table. I used to play in pool tournaments, and he's pretty damn good too. And but for me to play my fucking A game, I need to have about a 1.5 to 2 beer buzz and just maintain that for the 3 or 4 hours that we're playing. If I get beyond that, then I fucking suck. And if I haven't had any, then I suck.
Yeah.
It's like but I could fucking run a table if I got that perfect, that perfect little buzz going on.
Oh,
And
you need to play Casey in pool. Casey is so good. He used to travel around,
yeah,
play some tournaments too. Yeah.
I'd love to play him. He's got to make
Yeah.
it to the WSOP though, man.
Yeah, I'm hoping every year. I love the big dog. I hope he comes out, but I mean, he had the baby, marriage, home. I think he's really focused on just his family and stuff. So more power to him.
Yeah.
But we do miss him out there. Shit.
Yeah, he is so funny. He's the two of you together are like Pete and repeat.
The thing is like maybe it's better him and I don't see each other because we are a bad, deadly combination. Like, we kind of feed off each other.
Very entertaining, though.
It's bad enough being with Derek, but like get Derek, me, Danny, and Casey out there. Oh,
lights out.
And then you throw in all of us. It's just we're cancers to each other. We have a good time out there though, and that's the beauty of Vegas. Like it's nice. Because you got the poker, but then you see these people that you talk to all the time on Skype, and you and I talk via text all the time, fantasy, whatever.
Yeah.
It's nice to see you guys and be like, oh, your face, like.
Yeah.
It's weird.
You're not this digital presence in my phone.
Dude, I talk to everyone on Skype, and like, I must talk to Derek like. I can't even tell you how many hours a year is on Skype.
Yeah.
And I see him, and it's just weird. I'm like. You want to call me on Skype? I'll go up in my room.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, like, I feel like maybe earlier I was like putting down poker, but that's not it at all. It's just, I feel just in a place in my life now where I don't have to play every day online.
Yeah.
And, if that's not what I want to do and I'm interested in something else, fuck it.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
I got balls. Like, I'll try. I could go. Who knows? I could go broke doing DFS, but I'll go out swinging.
Yeah, and that's what it takes. You just got to be all in and just go for it.
Yeah, I mean, it's all about how hard you work too. I mean, shit, poker's the same way. You study, get coaching, and put in some time playing. Like you're gonna be successful. Like a lot of people just want to play and not study at all, and that's just not a rest. Like I personally, for me. Right now, I'd rather study than play just because I want to get better. And I feel I get better faster studying, especially when I'm not putting in like 40 hours a week.
Yeah.
So the studying actually does a lot more for me. That's why I like still staking a couple guys, which is, interesting, fun. And I actually get something out of that when some of the guys are successful and win a big tournament or something like that. You get a weird feeling like it's like, damn, like I helped that guy out. Like maybe, or no, I don't say that. I say maybe I helped that guy out because I never know if like I actually really do anything. I mean, I assume I do, but.
No, but it's a feeling of accomplishment because you got something invested in him and
yeah,
but, delivered.
Yeah, more like not even the money though. It's more just like seeing someone succeed that you've been coaching, you've been working. Yes. That's a good feeling, and that's kind of what I've lost in poker is those types of feelings where I'm doing good for others, helping people out. And that's my own fault. That's not poker's fault. That's just me being obsessed with being great. But yeah, there's so much more to life. Like, I mean, I couldn't imagine being a fighter and someone coming up to you and being like, thank you so much, sir. Like, you save lives and shit. That's like something I never could. I mean, not never, but something I haven't experienced. Like, that's got to be an amazing, fulfilling feeling.
It is very cool. There's, there are aspects of the job like that are very, very rewarding. And we had a family come by the station, and I wasn't working on this one, but the crew saved their little girl, and that's cool. I've had calls where I remember one. It was a fatality. We pulled pulled the guy out, and there was a little girl that called 911, and she was heartbroken. Like, she should have been able. She wanted to be a firefighter. I think she was 10 years old at the time, and she thought that she should be able to go in and pull him out. And I, took her down, and I said, if I were you, in your position, and I didn't have this safety gear and this breathing apparatus, I wouldn't have gone in either. You did exactly the right thing. You went and called 911, and that was the best thing you could have done. And then we brought her by the station for the Christmas party, and she told me she liked soccer, so Santa gave her a soccer ball, and then the chief and me and a couple other firemen went to her house and gave her a plaque, and she's almost old enough to join the Explorer program now. So, moments like that really, really make the job rewarding.
I have goosebumps, by the way.
Yeah, it's cool. It's cool.
I mean, that's an amazing story, and that feeling, and just going into detail how you did, I can tell how much it meant to you. Like, that feeling is something that every human should experience. That's a really good feeling, knowing that you're helping someone and that you can have such an effect on someone's life.
Yeah.
I mean, firefighting's different than coaching, but again, that's kind of what I get from coaching. I mean, I want to coach basketball as well.
I didn't know you were that into basketball.
Yeah, I mean, I used to play, and I think I was good, but I think I'm a better coach in general anyway.
You're very good at coaching.
I appreciate that. But yeah, you get that feeling of accomplishment. And I mean, so many times poker players, we just sit at home and play poker all day. And you just miss that sense of fulfillment. Why are you here? Why do I exist? I offer nothing. And I still think you can play poker and find that. It's just separating the two. Let's give back a little bit. That's important. But yeah, props to you for being a firefighter. That's amazing.
Thank you, man. I look at it online. I have a little bit harder time justifying it, but live, I look at it when I'm playing. I kind of look at myself as maybe entertainer isn't the right word, but I look at it most of the people playing are amateurs and they're not long-term winners, and that's the only reason we win. So I kind of look at it I want them to have fun at the table while they're playing with me. And if I can do that and they can have fun, then, I feel like I'm kind of contributing in some way.
It's a really good way to look at it, because I feel I'm the same way. I don't go to a table, and there's times where I have my headphones on, but for the most part, especially the early levels, I want everyone to enjoy it. I mean, we're playing a game. Let's have fun. And
exactly.
You're right. That guy that invests $500, $1,000 in that tournament. I'm going to try to take his shoes and his wallet.
Yes.
But I'm also going to make him laugh.
Yeah.
And so maybe there's a trade-off there.
Yeah. You see him, and he bought a lottery ticket. He might as well fucking put it through the shredder, because he doesn't have any chance of winning. So of course you want to get his chips, but yeah, you want him to have fun in the process.
Yeah, it's kill or be killed, right? I mean, but at the same time, when you have guys that come play poker that are, wealthy millionaires, they don't give a shit about it. So, I mean, I'm all about having a good time. I don't like berating people at the table. I had a problem with that when I was younger online. And everyone thought, whatever, there probably was something wrong with me, but it was just the will to get better and the fact that I was broke. So I don't I guess I regret it, but it was also part of my growth. But nowadays, when I go play live, man, let's have a good time. I'm not in front of my computer anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just great. But yeah, it's a shame. Too many people that do play professionally, especially live guys, they're just miserable. And that's also something that turns me off from poker when I look at the live guys. And they just look like death at the table.
Yeah.
Because they've been traveling so much. They're on a massive downswing. And when you take a step back, it's man, A, how do you do this professionally, live?
Yeah.
And B, I pray for your soul. And I was in a spot like that with online as well. And I'm lucky, through thousands of dollars investing in mental coaches, I'm finding my way out. And not that Elliot or anyone else has turned me off from poker. It's just kind of what I realized for myself.
Yeah, it's balanced you out more.
Yeah, exactly. And everyone always said balance, balance, balance. And I got it. I understood. I was I need to be more balanced. But like we talked about earlier, it's so hard to be really good at poker if you're not all in. If you're not like,
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't see half my friends for years. They're like, where are you? What have you been doing? I'm like, dude, I'm grinding.
Yeah.
Like my cousins, stuff like that. Like, and I feel bad for it, but at the same token,
That's what it
it's
took.
what I had to do. Like, I'm a college dropout. Shit, like I don't even know how I passed high school. I never studied for anything. Like, cheated my way through. Like, I mean, that was bad. Like, I didn't give a shit. Which, whatever, I still, like, stand by my decision, even as a child. Like, I loved math, and I wish I paid more attention in English, because Derek tries to have me write articles, and, like, when I reread it, I'm like, damn, I sound like a fucking third grader.
What are all these red and green squiggly lines under this thing? I don't understand.
I mean, even if you hear me talk, like, I say words wrong. I mean, my grammar is just shit, and I apologize for that. Like,
No. You know what's funny is when I went out to Vegas this last year, in my mind, I think just kind of through brainwashing or whatever, I'd convinced myself that I was a professional poker player. And there was this moment where we're sitting outside and at your guys' house, and we're sitting out by the pool, and we're just talking hands and stuff, and then Ben comes over, Ben Reason, and the two of you start talking about a game that I'd never heard of, where you have like multiple cards, and there's all this.
Crazy pineapple.
Yes, and I'm thinking to myself, there was one point where I look over at Derek, and I'm like, I have absolutely no idea what the fuck these two are talking about. He's all, me neither. I'm like, okay, cool. And I was like, you know what? I'm not a pro. I'm a winning player, and I'll just leave it at that. That's.
Let's be very clear here. Ben is on another level than me. Like,
dude, that guy's insane.
When he talks poker, you listen.
Yeah, exactly.
But see, there's a big difference. There are a lot of guys like Ben that talk like that speak really fluently about the game, know all the words, and they can't play worth shit. Yeah. Ben's not like that. Ben's very intelligent and one of the best.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of guys that talk a big game like that, and then they can't do shit on the felt. Like, I've had many study sessions, conversations with people that when they talk to me, like, I felt like they were putting me down and shit. And then I look at results at the end of the year, and I'm like, you can't even sniff what I'm doing. Like, you're like, some people can't produce when they play. It's just a fact. So, like, when you listen to Ben talk, trust me, I'm intimidated too. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, can you say that again in layman terms? Like, and like me and Ben, he's business partner. We mesh well together because he's like the taskmaster, and like when we do studies, when we do study group sessions, he puts down the law. He'll lay down the law. I'll crack a joke every now and then, and I can see he's like, shut up, Mark. Like,
yeah, he's like, I'm making a point.
And I'm like, dude, we're partners here, man. Like, but like working with him has been a blessing because I mean but listening to him talk is like, it's like, God damn it, like, am I ever gonna be that good? But it's not about, like, you can still be great and not know what, like, fold equity. Oh, I guess you need to know what fold equity is, but like, you don't need to use PO solver to be great at poker. Like,
yeah.
So Dip Throng's been coaching me for a while, and he, like, I don't know if you're following on Twitter, he jokes about PO solver all the time. He's all, I PO solved life, like, I PO solved Tinder. Like, he's hilarious. Like, he just mocks it. And so one time he hit me up. He's like, hey, man, you want to PO solve? And I got so excited. I was like, yeah, man, like, let's do it. And I get on call with him. He's like, I was fucking with you. I was going to PO solve. Like, oh, my God, man. Like, but, like, you have him, and he's literally one of the best in the world. He's elite. And it's mostly feel.
Yeah.
And he's an amazing coach because of that. Like, a lot of people may not like his coaching because they want more math, Ben Reason type coach, which I love as well. But I actually find a lot of value in what Mark's taught me. Like, just like man, he thinks on a crazy level. It's really interesting.
Yeah.
So you have both sides of the spectrum. You have the math nerd guys, which I'm like trying to get at. I want to be there too. But then you have like the feely guys, like the big dogs, the Dip Throngs. And, there's no right or wrong. Both styles win.
Yeah.
Just the two that are not mathy, they probably get ripped on a lot more in the forums because all the math guys are like, what a fucking idiot. Like, look at this guy. He didn't peel, solve, crunch this. It's like, dude, he just owned you.
Yeah, you're just mad because he won.
Like, you can't put that in math, bro. Like, you're out of the tournament and he won.
Oh, you know, I got a email from a listener, and since I'm having you on, I think you're the perfect guy to answer this. I think I already know your answer, but let's see. This is from Chad Milligan, and he said, hey, guys. I just started your podcast about a month ago, and I'm already caught up. That's pretty fucking impressive, Chad. Thank you. I'm glad you like it. Yeah, I do so enjoy the contrast of personalities on the show. As for me, I'm a pretty straight-laced ABC live cash player who is looking to improve. I'm trying to ingest everything that you guys have, as well as Split Suit and Jonathan Little, as I think the three of you have great stuff. Well, thank you. The thing I need help with is this. Okay, here's his question. What HUD selection should I make? I'm trying to expand on ACR, and I can't get a good vibe on which HUD I should use. Any help or advice would be much appreciated. Thank you, Chad.
Yeah, this is right up my alley.
Yeah.
So, you know, depending on how long you've played, Chad, I would go with, I would just start with the basic HUD, like VPIP, PFR, 3-bet percentage to start. I would want to sample, because all the other stats are more sample based, where you can still get something off 100, 200 hands from that.
Yeah.
But like, let's go down the road. Let's say like we've played 10,000 hands, 30,000 hands, and we start to get like a bigger database, and we start to get 500, 600 hands with villains. Then I want to add C-bet, flop C-bet, turn C-bet. I want to know how much they're C-betting in every spot, so we can, you know, how we can adjust how to play against that. We can float a lot more if they're like C-betting the flop 90% and then they turn C-bet 40%. We can just float 100% of the time and expect to win the pot. Then like I'd want like turn flop fold to C-bet and turn fold to C-bet, like vice versa. Now like we're C-betting. I want to know how often they fold, because a lot of times you have guys that never fold to a flop C-bet, but fold to a turn C-bet 80% of the time. So, like, I mean, we can just exploit the shit out of that.
Yeah.
And then there's plenty of more things. I mean, what people don't realize is the HUD is great in-game, but what Poker Tracker 4 does outside of the game, when you can filter stuff and see are all an adjusted BB per 100, you can see what hand range you're winning with. This is where Ben is amazing, by the way. If you want to get coaching on a HUD, Chad, follow Reasons14 on Twitter. You don't mind that? I mean, like, he's amazing, like, with the HUD.
Yeah.
Him and Daryl Jace is very good, too.
You know who else is really good is Ben Hales.
Oh, I'm sure.
I mean, he wrote a freaking book on it after dissecting something like 30 million hands or something. So that guy, he really knows Hold'em Manager.
Hold'em Manager, yeah. See,
You're switching over to Poker Tracker, right?
Poker Tracker's better, man.
Okay.
Like, just the filters outside of the table are much more up to date. I heard they were merging too.
Really?
Yeah, that was a while ago, so I don't know what happened with that. But I mean, they're both great. I've used both of them. I switch back and forth. Like Hold'em Manager 2 was great, then PT4. Like, you know, whichever one gets better, I'm just going to that. And I think a HUD is like, I mean, I think it's a necessity, because even if you don't use the HUD in game, what you can extrapolate from your own game off the when you're not playing and see where you're making mistakes, what hand range you're winning with from the button. That only makes us a better player. And this is the type of shit nobody wants to do.
Yeah.
People just want to play and like don't give a shit about a HUD. It's like, dude, don't even use the HUD. Just save all your hands and then pay Ape Styles or Ben a couple $100 an hour and go like, dissect my HUD, tell me what hands I'm winning with it. Like, because you can find out like 9-7 suited under the gun +1 off 24 bigs. I'm losing in a hand sample of 100 hands. Like, that's huge. Yeah. You automatically get better right away. So like, yeah, you can see what kind of mistakes you're making, because whether you and I are using, like, if someone's not using a HUD, someone else is. Yeah. So if you're playing a certain way, like, chances are they're going to exploit the shit out of that. Like, I always tell Derek, like, I'm like, man, if you just 3-bet more, like, it's such a simple fix, too, because he 3-bets, like, really low. And I think I always bring up Derek, but it's one of the guys I coach the most. like he has thousands of hands because he's had Killing Bird, that name, on every site. Everyone knows who he is. If he just started 3-betting more, he would just destroy the game because everyone would be like, what the hell? Like 6% is all value. Like they would overfold. I mean, he could destroy.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, I'm all about the HUD. So I went on a tangent there, but Chad, I think you got something from that. Start small, and then as you go on, there's some great YouTube vids too for PT4.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, as you go along, add to that HUD. Like some guys have like 60 numbers on the screen. I'm more like, I had 20 at once, but because I like the opening percentages too. After a couple months, I would add opening percentages from every position, fold to 3-bet, fold or bet versus miss C-bet.
Yeah.
Big blind defend. Yeah, so some of those are great.
Yeah.
But start easy, like start small.
Yeah, what I have, Chad, I've got 18 lines now that I'm looking at it. The first one is, you may have to press the 15-second repeat on this if you're going to write it down. The first one is the name. Second one is total hands, big blinds, total VPIP, and then total PFR, and that's the first line. Then the second line, I've got total 3-bet, total fold to 3-bet, total steal, small blind fold to steal, big blind fold to steal, and then fold big blind versus steal from small blind. So when the villain's in the big blind and you're in the small blind, when you raise, how often is he dumping it? And once you get several hundred hands on a guy, you can just own him with that stat.
Yeah, and see, you have that stat, and then you have fold versus, and then you have like the C-bet folding versus C-bet stats, like flop and turn. Yep. And now you're just destroying people.
Yep. Yeah, and then the last line, I've got flop C-bet, turn C-bet, and then what you just said, Mark, flop fold to C-bet, turn fold to C-bet. And then I've got another one, too, that Daryl Jace recommended I put it in, and I like it a lot, especially once you get a lot of hands on a guy, is early position, raise first in, middle position, raise first in, and then total re-steal. So that's a 3-bet versus a steal. So that's what I got. It works for me. But, like you said, until you get a few hundred hands on a guy, a lot of those later ones are just useless. But the big ones are total hands, big blinds, total VPIP, PFR, and 3-bet.
Yeah, you start small and you start to get a feel for it because you can always click the box too in game.
Yeah.
But none of it matters unless you understand what the stats mean. So starting small and developing that database is crucial.
Yeah. You know what I'll do, Chad? Actually, I'll just take a screenshot of my. That would have been a lot simpler. I'll take a screenshot of my thing and I'll send it out.
Chad's not the only one that's starting with a HUD, and maybe now we sold some people on the HUD, which.
Yeah, there you go. If any of you guys want a screenshot of what my HUD looks like, just email me at headsuppokerpodcast@gmail.com and I'll shoot you over a little picture of it. So, yeah. Well, you want to move into some strat, Mark?
Sure. I'm always down for some strat. You know me.
Okay, I've got two hands here. One of them is one that I played, and one of them is actually one that you played that you reviewed with Dylan in your latest series.
Oh, I wonder which. I actually pulled a hand from that series too.
Did you? Okay.
Yeah, it's gonna be funny if it's the same one.
I doubt it because this one, you guys, you were in the big blind, and you breezed through it real quick. You didn't even talk about it, which I in my mind there was a decision here, and it makes me think that I still have a whole lot to learn if the two of you didn't even mention it. So you're in the. It's in video number 7. You're in the final table, and it's about 2 minutes into the video, maybe 3 minutes.
Okay.
And
I'm pulling it up but describe it. I'm going to pull it up as well. It's 2 minutes in, you said?
Yeah, maybe 2:30, something like that. You've got 7-3 of spades in the big blind, and the blind levels are 3,000, 6,000. Villain is in the cutoff. He has over 50 big blinds. And you're in the big blind with about 21 bigs to start the hand.
Okay.
So the cutoff min raises. So at 3K, 6K, he makes it 12K. And then the button folds and the small blind folds. Oh, by the way, we're at the final table too. So there's 9 players left. And I think first was 9K and ninth was like $800 or something.
Yeah,
it was super top heavy.
It was really top heavy. And there's actually one absurdly short stack.
Yeah, he's got like, 2 big blinds or something?
Yeah, something like that. And there's another guy shorter too, but I'm kind of in that 3 to 7th place range right now.
Yeah, yeah. Now this is where I was thinking maybe this was more of an ICM decision than anything else. But anyways, he raises it to 12K. You got 7-3 of spades in the big blind. And the pot now is about 26K, and it's 6K for you to call. So you're getting over 4-1.
Yeah, almost 4.5.
Yeah. And with 21 bigs, for me, this would be an auto call, right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. And like you said probably 7-4 you're dumping, 7-4 off you're dumping here. But the fact that they're suited and you're getting such a good price.
Yeah, and let me be clear, though. Like, did I say, like, whatever, 7-4 off is close. I would fold. So, like, I'm defending roughly 80% out of the big blind with antes.
Okay.
Min raise. From a late position raise, maybe like 85 to 90. With ICM involved, I'll cut that down. Like, I don't want to give a percent, but maybe like 60, 70. Like, so like some of the 7-4s and like this, but like nothing suited and nothing, no like 7-8s. Most one gappers I'll call as well. Yeah. So there's like the bottom of my flatting range.
Okay. And anyway, so we flick in a call. Now the pot is 32,400. Let's see. You started with 21 bigs, 3-6K. And so there's 5.5 bigs in the pot. Then the flop is king of clubs, 6 of clubs, 3 of clubs. So we flop bottom pair with a pretty terrible kicker and no club. And what's your decision here on the flop? I mean, after seeing this, my first thought was, like, you know, before you seeing this, I would have donk-led here. And at least I have this voice in my head. I don't remember where it came from. I think it was Alex Fitzgerald. He said that on boards where your hand is too strong to check fold and too weak to check call. Or I'm sorry, maybe I'm getting this wrong. But basically, he said like with your weak hands, you want to lead on boards where it's a little bit too strong to it's too weak to check call. Does that make sense?
No, I'm with you. You said it right.
Okay, there we go.
The thing is here is there's a guy with 10K in chips.
Yeah.
So like I'm burning money if I lose any chips, and like this, like it was King 3-6-3 clubs. Is the board.
And we got 7-3 of spades.
Yeah, and he has. Do you remember how much he has in chips?
Like, it was like 370 or something. Yeah. I wrote down 50 plus big blinds because the effective stacks are 21. You've got.
So he's second in chips. There's two guys that are second and third that have over 50 bigs. One guy with 100, and the rest of us are like under 20.
Yeah.
So like every chip I lose there, like, is a disaster, like based on everyone else's stack. And like if I get in a weird spot where I turn 2 pair or something like that, like I'm burning money with this guy that has 1.5 big blinds.
Yeah, okay.
I see why you like doing what you're doing, and I think that's fine. Like
maybe mid-level stage of a tournament.
Yeah, without ICM, but I think like just in this spot, and I actually like leading. I think check raising would be fine too.
If you check raise and he shoves, you got to go with it, right? Or do you just dump it?
No, I'm gone.
Okay.
Like, even if he has a flush draw, he's gonna have 2 overs and just be destroying. And I'd be like, I would never do that in this spot. Like I would play this hand the same way 100 out of 100 times.
Okay.
At the final table with this guy with 1.5 big blinds, like this exact spot, I'm never doing anything. But no, we could like check raise fold, like depending on his sizing. If he bets like 1/3, we could check raise like 2.5x and fold to a shove. Like that puts a lot of pressure on him because it doesn't look like we're folding.
Yeah.
And he would need a hand. He would need like the nut flush draw, king, maybe the second nut flush draw, something like that.
He's folding all his pairs, 6s through queens there.
Oh, I mean, he should be.
Yeah.
But we're talking not this spot. Like we're talking just like from a pure chip EV spot, not ICM. ICM, we just have to fold, and like it kind of feels like we're being a bitch, but like we just have to. Okay. And maybe that's a reason to fold pre, and that's why I do tighten up my big blind defending range when ICM becomes relevant. But yeah, like with a guy with 1.5 big blinds and then 3 guys with 15, one with 10, because I'm looking at the table now, we would be burning money if we. I don't want to say
If you did anything but check fold there.
Maybe that's too harsh. No, I don't think leading's the worst. I just think with his stack and the fact that there's a guy with 1.5 big blinds, I lead, he can shove any 2 here profitably. And I'm just gonna fold like damn near everything except like a flopped flush and like, I mean, I don't know. Like I probably call with the ace of clubs, but like again, I would just be burning money with this guy having a big blind and a half. Because I mean, there are money jumps. I think the jump was like almost insignificant. But it was like a couple $100. So like,
I think from 9th to 8th, it was like 2 and change. And then it seemed to kind of double from up there, I think.
Yeah. In the middle, it gets worse. It's the weirdest thing ever. Like the pay jump from like 5th to 4th is smaller than 6th to 5th. Wow. ACR has done some weird shit with their final table payouts. I don't get it.
But 2nd to 1st was almost 4K, right?
I think it was 3, yeah.
I thought it was hard to see in the numbers you pulled up on the side, but I think 1st was like 9K and 2nd was 5 and change or something like that.
I'm sure I could.
Anyways, but it was a substantial jump.
No, I think it's good you're thinking outside of the box there with like a lead, and I think Alex would agree with me though with the guy with a blind and a half. We kind of just have to check fold.
Yeah, the ICM implications far outweigh the little bit of equity that you're going to get by leading there. Okay.
But I'm happy you're leading now. Leading is the nuts.
You know what? I do it like that with kind of weak hands, and then I mix in maybe I don't know, 20 or 25% of my nutted hands, my made ones. And
it's good balance
to kind of throw it off a little bit. But right on. What hand did you have from that tournament?
Jeez, where was it? Oh wait, I kept it open. Yes. Okay. So we're like 3 tables left right now. I'm in the cutoff with ace king. Let me get the stacks for us. And the cutoff with ace king was 60 bigs.
Okay. And what suits are the ace king?
Heart and spade. Ace of hearts, king of spades.
Okay.
So we min raise. The button.
And what are the blind levels?
2,500, 5K.
2,500, 5K. Okay. So you make it 10K.
Yeah. So I min raise. The button, who is aggressive, really good player, Machiavellian superstar. People that play on winning would recognize him. He's good. He has 40 bigs and he flats. Okay. Small blind folds, big blind calls. The small and big blind have under 20 bigs. So I don't know if the button's giving me a stronger range or not because I'm opening in the shorter stacks.
Okay.
Probably not. So we go 3-way to the flop.
And the big blind you said has around 20 bigs?
He's got 17.
17, okay.
The small blind has 19.
Okay.
So the flop comes king 8-6, 2 clubs, 8-6 of clubs, king of diamonds. We have no club, no diamond, so no blocker to backdoor flush, no blocker to the flush. We have top pair, top kicker.
Yeah.
36K in the pot. It checks to me. What's your sizing here?
Let's see. Okay, so big blind checks. Now it's on you. There's 36K in the pot. We have ace king with king 8-6 and 2 clubs out there.
And we're relatively deep with the button. The big blind is obviously short.
Yeah. Okay. So if we bet and then the big blind goes for it, as long as the button doesn't come along, that's an easy decision.
Yeah, it's really hard to see what sizing you should make. I shouldn't ask that question because you're not like.
Well, no. This is good. What I know we have button's got 40 bigs and the big blind has 17 bigs. What's that in chips? What's the 40 bigs?
73K and 188K. That's after the flop call.
Okay, 188 and 73. Okay, I'm gonna go let's see, out of 36, 33 would be about 12. I'm probably going to make it between 11 and 14.
Yeah, see,
That too small?
no. In general, I like smaller sizing here. But I for whatever reason, I felt like the buttons flatting range was a bit stronger. Um, and I didn't think he was going to fold. Like, he's good. I just know he's not going to fold the one bet.
Yeah.
And whatever.
Oh, you can go a little bigger then.
Yeah. And, like, because maybe I'm only going to get one or two streets. Like, let's range him here.
Okay.
What do we think the button's flatting with off 40 bigs? Like,
Let's see. I'd say all pairs. See, he has to worry about the guy in the small blind with 19 and the guy in the big blind with 17 because he doesn't know if they're going to call or shove or whatever pre-flop. So I would say pairs. Probably, let's see. Ace king, ace jack, ace queen. Maybe like suited aces, like probably all Broadway suited.
mm-hmm. Some of the offsuit Broadways too. Some of the pairs I think he's going to 3-bet, like the smaller pairs, but like the medium pairs I think are good calls. And then if like the guys squeeze shove, he can call like 9s, 10s, 8, stuff like that.
Okay.
I think some of the time he 3-bets those as well. But yeah, those are all in his range. I think he has the top of his range too, like all the bigger pairs I think are good flats here because of those two squeeze stacks.
Exactly.
And then I think he's got Broadway, all those Broadways and stuff. So like some of those he'll fold, but some of those are suited with backdoor diamonds, flop flush draws. So
what do you think he's doing with middling suited connectors? Is he 3-betting those or just dumping them, or is he calling along, you think?
I tend to think he would just 3-bet and fold to like any, like if like the guy's cold 4 shove like 17 to 20 bigs, I think he can just comfortably fold those.
Okay. So do you think we can take most of, if not all of those out of his range, like the 7-8 suited and 5-6 suited, stuff like that?
That's tough to say because I'd say like 5-6 suited I don't see, but like I could see like 7-8, 8-9 suited in his flatting range, 7-6.
Okay.
I think those play much better as a 3-bet in this spot.
Yeah.
That's just how I play.
I agree.
So they wouldn't be in my range, but I think they're in his.
Okay.
I wasn't using a HUD during this tournament either because I didn't have one in Vegas.
It's so amazing you fucking won that thing. The HUD master.
Yeah, fuck everyone that's ever doubted me. There's people that have said I ain't shit without a HUD.
Look at this, bitches. I shipped it.
Okay, so I make it 19.999. I think your sizing is fine. I think I made my case for why I made it bigger. I don't think there's a right or wrong.
No, I like that. Since you think he's floating you with everything, like get money in the pot.
I just think I thought he was a really good player, and I just don't think he would fold the one bet. We have like a little history too, like some cold 4s. I think there's a genuine respect for each other.
Yeah, I saw you had quite a bit of hands on him, and you probably had it under your previous name too, huh?
Yeah. Yeah. So we bet 20K, 19.99 as I would, and let's see. He calls, big blind folds. So now we go to a turn.
And the pot is...
So the pot's 106 now. 106,500.
Okay.
The turn is a queen of spades. And in the video, I actually talked about this. I didn't like that card at all. Like, mainly because of king, queen.
Yeah.
Because I think I block king, queen, which is huge. But, like, that's definitely in his flatting range. Just didn't really like the queen for whatever. I can't, other than the fact that maybe I thought he had king, queen. I don't know. Like, it didn't feel right.
No, as soon as you said queen, I was like, that's not a card we're
yeah,
hoping for.
I mean, there's a lot of better cards, right? So, I still think I'm still going to bet here. And now, so there's 106K and he has 170K. I don't like the queen, but I'm still going to tax him on draws. I still want to maybe get it all in on the river. I want to have that option where my sizing is going to dictate that I'm probably going to shove the river.
Yeah.
So I made it 30K, 29,999, because I'll never make something zeros. I just don't.
I don't either. I don't know why.
It seems too simple.
Yeah.
He calls. So now he has 138K. There's 136K in the pot. I have a perfect pot size shove. The river is the 7 of hearts, so clubs bricks out. Queen was a spade. I don't know if I said that. So no flush came in. The 7 came, and again, this is another bad card. Now 9-10 gets there.
Yeah.
He's got a lot of 2 pairs, 7-6, 7-8. I don't think he has like king 8, king 6, but king queen. He's got some sets too.
Yeah. So I think all sets are in his range here.
Yeah. I still think we have to bet the turn though. Even if I like think there's a chance he has a set, I have to bet the turn because of the clubs and like the amount of draws that are out there.
Yeah.
Because you can even have like 10 jack of diamonds or something.
Yeah, I was thinking jack 10 of clubs. Yeah.
Yeah, so like betting the turn, I think, I don't want to say is a must. It's something I prefer. But now I'm like in a spot where I don't think I'm going to fold, but I'm definitely not going to bet. I'm going to try to just go check and hopefully win the pot and be mad if he has king jack or something, but not care too much because the times I'm wrong, the times where he's ahead, maybe he doesn't get it all.
And what's the pot? 166?
136, and he has 138K.
136, and he has 138K. Okay.
I think there's some rivers I would have jammed, but like the 7 is just not one of them. Maybe like a deuce or something I would have jammed, and certainly like a king or an ace I would have probably jammed. Although I'm not in love with it. So I do check here. I thought that 7 was just vicious.
I think you're right. I think if you bet here, then I don't think he's looking you up with king jack. I don't think. Maybe he is. Maybe you get a call from king jack and king 10.
Maybe just because clubs missed, so there's a chance, and like king 10 blocks 9-10.
Yeah.
So like I could see that. Yes, like I could definitely see that, but
I think there's far more hands that beat you.
Yeah.
That, but by checking here, you can, maybe on the off chance that he had, a few clubs or something like ace queen of clubs. I think
he may call that as well.
He probably
he does.
that.
No, he does block clubs though. So maybe he wouldn't, because that would be a big chunk of my block.
Yeah, I guess what I mean is by checking on the off chance that he's going to try to run a pot-sized bluff here, you get that, whereas by betting you don't.
Absolutely. And I don't think, like you said, I don't think we miss value very often here, because I don't think king jack or king 10 calls 3 very often.
Yeah.
Like this is a spot too. Sometimes like I'll bet smaller to minimize the damage when I'm like
a blocking better.
But I can't do that here. Yeah, we can't block here. We can't put a blocking bet in because I don't think I'm going to be able to fold.
No, if he raises, you still have to call. So
maybe. I don't know. Like his raising range here is probably really nutted. But with all that considered, I think check calling is the best because one of the main things is that we're allowing him to bluff, like you said.
Yeah.
That's huge. And if he doesn't shove, like I save chips the times I'm wrong.
Yeah.
So we do check, and you're calling here, you said?
I think I'm calling anything, yeah.
So he bet 97K. He has like 40 back.
Oh, fuck. Now that right after I said that, I'm like, well, maybe I'm not calling.
But here's the thing, like, it's a really good size if he's bluffing. Like,
it is.
Because he still has chips back. He would only have 8 bigs, but like...
He's not out of the tournament.
He's not out of the tournament. So tournament life is there. I'm just not sold that, like... I don't really know what I beat here, the more I think about it. I really don't know. But he was aggressive.
Do you think things like wheels... suited aces are in his range, so things like ace 2, 3, 4, 5 of clubs, stuff like that?
I won't discount it, but I think like he may use those as 3-bet bluffs.
Okay. What about on the flop or turn? Do you think he's ripping or raising with those on the flop or turn?
Yeah, see, that's the thing. Like some flop flush draws. I don't know. Like this was a 3-way pot, and I'm betting twice, and we're like pretty deep. Like I could see him raising a flush draw at some point, but I don't have enough history to know.
Yeah.
So that's why I do end up calling, because of the uncertainty.
Yeah.
Like
it's a pretty sick bluff if it's a bluff. That's sized very, very well.
Yeah, I don't know what his sizing is. I don't know if he bluffs here, though, is the problem. But again, like, wasn't using a HUD. And the truth is like, I didn't have my HUD running during this tournament either. So, like, I have no
Yeah.
stats up, like, while I'm doing the review as well. I hadn't, I mean, I didn't remember this guy. I hadn't been playing on a lot of I hadn't been playing on winning that much until Vegas.
Yeah.
Because I just think there's better spots, like I said earlier. So I didn't have much on him. And like readless, if we're just readless here, like I want to say we kind of have to call, but like months later down the road, knowing how good he is, shout out to Machiavellian Superstar. I'm really plugging you.
There you go. Tap that.
I don't know if I had more, like today, I think I fold this, but here I didn't. And I'm not being result oriented. I just think I think the more I talk about it with you too, and like I see you being perplexed, even though I can't see you, I hear you being perplexed. Yeah. We don't beat much. And like against a good player, it's just a spot I don't think they're going to bluff often.
Yeah.
But we didn't know that. We do call. And he did have a bluff. No, I'm kidding.
Oh, I thought, wow.
I should have just gone with it so I looked like a fucking genius. He actually had pocket queens and turned a set. And
okay.
I mean, that shows you something about him because rather than 3-bet play a massive pot, he was cool flatting to give the small and big blind a chance to shove.
Yeah.
And like to under rep his range. And at the time, that wasn't in my thought process. Like, but when I review it after, I'm like, that's why I mentioned it. Like, well, it's hard because I knew what he had, but like, it makes sense to flat aces, kings, queens here. Queen, I wouldn't flat jacks.
Yeah,
but
I think that's a little too risky.
Yeah. And I think he played the hand really well. Like, called flop, just called turn. Yeah, I mean, if we were result oriented, he should have 3-bet because he would have got it all. But
yeah,
I think I'm okay with how I played the hand. Like based on the information we had, like I'm happy I didn't shove the river and I just check called and saved that 40K.
Yeah, I just did some quick math and it's basically 30%. So you were you had to win 30% to break even.
Yeah, which.
Now that I verbalized that, I don't know that you're good that often.
But in a vacuum, Steve, we are.
In a vacuum, yeah.
But against him, no way.
Okay.
I'm with you. I agree. But like, yeah, if you just took a random player, yeah. I still think they would shove as a bluff though, like most.
Okay.
So like his sizing would be really good as a bluff.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I kind of like that. I might pull that move now. That's
learning something.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a fun hand.
Yeah. Okay.
Fun hand for him.
Yeah, for him. Well, you in the long run, you ended up shipping the tournament, so it worked out. But I got one here from a. This is a. Let's see, what is this? This is a Hyper Turbo Mega Stack. So I think it was $30 buy-in, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, is this the nightly one where you get 25K?
Yes, yeah. You know the one I'm talking about, right?
So let me paint a picture first about this tournament.
Okay.
Hyper Turbo, it's a Hyper Turbo, but it's a deep stack Hyper Turbo, so it's like more of a turbo.
Yeah.
The blinds go up, but you also start with a gazillion big blinds. So
you start like with 1,250 big blinds or something ridiculous.
Yeah, this is a tournament that I would recommend playing because it's at the end of the night when everyone's done with their sessions. A lot of the regs won't play it, and if they do, they're punting.
I feel the same way. I was talking with Elliot, and he said that he gave me a link to a guy that did a YouTube video on hyper turbos, and he showed some of the most successful players on Stars, and that they're actually losing or break even in these hyper turbos, and they've invested hundreds of hours.
Well, but the thing is, I don't know if he said this, is those guys that lose make hundreds of thousands off of Stars rakeback.
Oh.
Yeah, so like they were break even, but they're also mass multi-tabling. So like I know who he's referencing that you went through. It's Rob whatever, Tinius or something.
I can't remember his name.
He does Poker.
Okay.
Other training site. He's a really smart guy, really good player. But I think he would even say it like those guys that were break even losing, Like some of them make hundreds and hundreds of thousands because if you're Supernova Elite, the rake back was great. You can't do that anymore because the stars changes. But the thing is too, like, I'm not sure did you tell Elliot, like, this is more of a turbo. Because of how many big blinds you start with. Like, sure.
Well, that's kind of how I justified it in my mind. I'm like, well, we start so deep, and I'm like, the competition of all the tournaments on here, it's fairly soft, you know.
I assure you this is plus EV.
Okay, all right.
Like, AZN all in, Marc Alioto, stamp of approval, play this tournament every night.
Okay.
Now, I'm with Elliot, though. Normal hyper turbos, unless you have a really good rake back deal and you're mass multi-tabling, I think they're a losing proposition for the most part. Okay. Maybe not on the U.S. sites, but it's close.
Okay. Well, that's this tournament. We're, I'm guessing, approaching like the third waypoint through the tournament. The blinds are 350, 700, and then with the antes, it's 560. So we got 1,600 in the pot, and we are 8-handed. Okay, we're in the big blind. Under the gun, min raises, so he makes it 1,400. He starts with 41 big blinds. Okay. He makes it 1,400. Middle position with 137 bigs calls. The button calls with 22 bigs, and the small blind calls with 61 bigs. And we have 78 bigs, and we've got king of clubs, 3 of hearts. So we got king 3 offsuit. I think we're completing here basically with any 2, right? I mean, we're getting just shy of 10 to 1.
Yeah. Can you give me everyone's stack again real quick? Sorry. The opener had 64.
He had 41 bigs.
Okay. Any read on his under the gun opening percentage?
No, I have 4 hands on him. He just came to the table. The next guy, let's see, he calls 137 bigs. After 59 hands, 31-9, 3-bet is 8%.
Okay, so I'm not worried about his flatting range.
Yeah, okay. The button, only 8 hands, so nothing there. But
how many bigs?
22.
See, that's scary. Okay.
Small blind, 61 bigs, and only 14 hands. So, no real.
Yeah, the reason why I asked for that again is because I actually think it's a decent spot to squeeze, but I just don't like that the button has 20 bigs. If the button had 40 bigs, I would consider squeezing here, like using the king as a blocker. I think that's. I think flatting is better in this spot. I'll just say that. I'm not sure what I think is better overall.
Okay.
Like, if like the stacks were different, but in this specific spot, yes. I'm never folding.
Yeah.
I'm just debating if I want to, like, if I felt the button was a fish or whatever, but you didn't have any hands. So yeah. I like.
Okay. Yeah. I never thought of 3-betting there. I thought this was just a call and there was no other option, but that's interesting. Okay.
Yeah. Always think.
Yeah.
Like, there's always, like, anytime, like, you just got to think the first guy that flats, like, is just has a really weak range. Under the gun opening, like, we're supposed to believe that that's a tight range, but I think that's a wider range. And, like, yeah, I think that's a wider range in general these days. The button off 21 bigs is scary. And then small blind, like, I think is just a really weak range. Yeah. But even the button, I'm not sure, is a strong range. Yeah, I mean, I still would consider 3-betting, but flatting is completely fine, standard.
Okay. All right, we flat. Total pot is 7,500. Okay. We go to the flop with king of clubs, 3 of hearts out of the big blind. The flop is queen of clubs, 8 of clubs, 3 of clubs. So we flop the second nut flush draw and bottom pair.
Okay.
Small blind checks. And what are you thinking here? We've got 52,000 behind, and there's 7,500 in the pot.
Well, I mean, I'm just checking here because, like, I can find out a lot about what's going to happen about people's ranges by checking here and allowing it to go. There's ways I could fold here. Which is not necessarily what I want to do, but, like, if under the gun 1 c-bets, like, he's probably going to, maybe 50% of the time on this specific board, then there's a raise behind or something like that, we can get away from it. Yeah, and I want to keep the pot small. Things would change with the ace of clubs. I don't know how much. I would be okay leading with like the ace of clubs, but
if it was ace of clubs instead of queen of clubs?
We have the king of clubs, right?
Oh, you mean if we have the ace of clubs?
Well, if we had the nut flush draw with the king of clubs, yeah, fine.
I thought you meant if the ace of clubs was, I guess that would kind of be this. Well, no, then it would. Whatever. I know what you mean.
Yeah.
We have the ace of clubs. Okay.
It's a little bit different because if the ace of clubs was on the board, I wouldn't want to lead either because whatever, they probably have a lot of aces in their range.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, I think leading is okay, but I prefer check.
Okay, that's what I did. I checked. I figured we have nothing but a big blind invested in this pot. We flop a good hand. Well, we flop a hand that we want to see a turn with, and I don't think I don't see much of an argument for leading here. I think if we just check, like you said, we can get away from this hand, pretty easily if it goes bet raise, and then the button shoves or what. Like there's no decision. You just let it go.
We get a lot more information. That's for sure
by checking. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I check. Under the gun +1, he checks as well. And then the middle position, it looks like he clicks the half pot button. He basically bets 3,800. And that's the guy with 137 bigs. The 31,980.
Okay.
He bets half pot, and then button folds, small blind folds, and now it's back on us. There's 11-3 in the pot, and we got 52K behind.
How much? Wait, 11?
11,300.
Okay, so walk me through again. Sorry, I'm having a brain fart.
No, you're good. This is one of the more complicated ones because there's so many people in the button, especially for those listening in their car right now. I think they're thinking.
Yeah, I'm getting confused listening, writing down notes. But okay, so go ahead.
Yeah, so on the flop, we've got queen of clubs, 8 of clubs, 3 of clubs. And we have the king of clubs with an offsuit 3. So we have bottom pair with the second nut flush draw.
With that.
The small blind checks. We check. Original opener, he checks. And now middle position, who we figured had a pretty weak range, he leads out for half pot. So he bets 3,800 into 7,500.
Okay.
Then it folds around to us. So the button folds, small blind fold.
Okay, good call.
Okay, yeah. I don't see any reason to raise here, right? We're never folding.
Yeah, right? I didn't hear who bet, but yeah, we're so deep with this guy too where if the button bet, I would consider just getting it in with all the dead money. It's probably okay.
Yeah.
Could sometimes have the best hand, but versus him being as deep as we are, just call and let's get there.
Okay. All right, I call. And then the original opener, he also calls. So we're three-handed. We go to the turn. And there's 19,000 in the pot. We've got 49,000. The under the gun +1 has 23,000. And middle position has 90K. So he's got us all covered. The turn is the 6 of spades. So we have the king of clubs, the 3 of hearts, and the board is now queen of clubs, 8 of clubs, 3 of clubs on the flop, and the turn is the 6 of spades.
All right.
And what are you thinking here?
I'm checking.
And why are you checking? Same reason as on the flop?
Yeah, I mean, not to make it. I mean, I think we're beat here, and I think actually we're probably drawing very thin because under the gun that didn't see bet and check called can easily have the ace of clubs here. So I'm not in love with my hand already.
Okay.
Yeah, and the guy that bet half pot, I still think we could be ahead of him, but it's not like I don't know what else we could do other than check here.
Yeah, I like that. I like that a lot. I don't know why, but I let out here for half pot. And reviewing this, I'm like, this is such an obvious check. And because now if what happens is the under the gun opener ships it. And then middle position folds, and now it's back on us, and we're getting almost 5-1. And it's like, shit, why didn't I check?
So interesting because, like, the fact that he's shoving now makes me feel like, I mean, I almost feel like, he's going to have the nuts or he, like, has a set. But I don't know why he would play a set like that on the flop. Like, especially if it's like a middle or bottom set, like, where people can have king X. Like, he either has, like, top set or the nut flush. I mean, I think I would just, God. And, like, I'm leaning more towards the nut flush. That's just how I'm thinking. I guess he could have ace king with the ace of clubs. It makes complete sense, too. Or what was top pair? The queen?
Queen, yeah. Queen
Ace,
8-3-6.
Yeah, ace queen with the ace of clubs. So he can have, like, top set queens and then, like, the nut flush. Like, I don't think he plays just a flush like this. I think it's the nut flush or top pair nut draw.
We could be drawing to like 5 outs here or something.
Yeah, getting 5-1, I won't be mad if you call. But, like, his line is very weird and suspect where it really looks like he just has, like, the nut flush, to be honest. And I know that's, like, really weird to say. Like, saying that doesn't feel right. But, like, it does feel like he just has the nuts here because, yeah, like, why is he checking that board 5-way with a set? Why is he checking that board with ace queen with ace of clubs when he has top pair and the nut flush draw? Like, we should be building the pot. Nothing makes sense other than the nuts. So fold.
Okay.
No, I mean, that's just how I'm seeing it.
Yeah, no, this is one where I didn't think about his hand that much. I just thought about the odds, and I think that's not right. But anyways, I
realize that because you're right. It's really important. Like, I understand. Like, I mean, in game, I'm probably still calling getting 5-1. I will say that.
I mean, you only got to be right. What is it, like, 1 out of 6 times or something like that?
Yeah,
like
no.
Yeah. But
it's just when you really do think about it, when you really do break it down, like, it just looks like he has the fucking nuts.
This one actually surprised me. Now, this is a total unknown player. We only have four hands on him. So the fact, as much as I play on the site, and like, this guy has got to be a recreational player. Mm-hmm. But anyways, I flick in a call, and the river comes to 7 of clubs, and I don't think you'll ever guess what he had.
Wow. So it wasn't the nut flush.
No. King, queen, offsuit, no club.
Wow.
So he had top pair with no club, and he checked the board and then called and then got it in on the turn. Does that make any sense?
The check on the flop does. Like, the check on the flop makes somewhat sense, but the shove on the turn to your lead doesn't make sense because, like, you have all the flushes.
Yeah.
But that's what you get in these hypers.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, good. At least we had outs.
Yeah. That's why I brought this hand up when I was looking over it. I'm like, when you're reviewing hands, you're like, okay, yeah, bet there, call there, yeah, and then I'm like, okay, check. Whoa, I bet. Why would I do that?
Yeah.
Like, hang on.
Steve, if you bet like 1/3 there. If you led like 1/3 or something just to like keep the pot smaller so you could see a cheap turn,
yeah,
I could see that.
Bet like 6K into 18 instead of
just to try to keep it small so you get that free turn and maybe you get some folds. Who knows? But half pot, like, and then committing yourself, like, if you bet a third two and he jams, you can fold.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's like. If I were to lead, it would be like 1/3, maybe even a quarter. Okay. I don't know if I'm leading very often 3-way here.
Okay. Yeah, I like that. Maybe even a bet of like 5,500 or something.
Yeah, just keep it real small and where it's favorable for you to draw.
Yeah, I mean, that looks pretty nutted.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right on. All right, cool. That was
so you donked off and got there.
Yeah, I did. Yes.
I'm just giving you shit.
Right on. Good deal. Well, thank you for coming on, Mark. This was fun.
Oh man, I love doing this. You and I could shoot the shit for 10 hours.
I know. I know.
Always a blast, and thank you for having me on, man.
Yeah, no worries.
I guess I gotta keep playing poker to keep you inviting me on, or what's the deal?
Oh no, dude, you could be playing fucking tiddlywinks or whatever.
Yeah, done. Okay, I'm good at that.
Yeah. Right on. Well, you want to throw in any plugs?
Sure. Just Tournament Poker Edge. Come check us out. One of the best tournament training site out there. A lot of great pros, including myself. We talked about Ben Reason a lot. Got Big Dog Pocket Fives. Come check us out.
Yep. Yeah. There's a link
I
in
know
the
you're
show
always
notes.
plugging us anyway, so.
Yeah. I always am. Love you guys. But right on, Mark. Well, thank you. And thank you for tuning in. Here is your weekly motivational speech.
Most people go to their grades taking their ideas with them, not wanting to make any mistakes, not wanting to fail, not wanting to step on anybody's toes, not wanting to hurt anybody's feelings, wanting to be known as the nice guy or nice lady, not wanting to be perceived as being pushy. And so they go to their grades with all of their music in them because they weren't willing to act. They weren't willing to step into the arena. They weren't willing to take care of business. And you've got to decide within yourself, come what may, let the chips fall where they may, but I'm going into action. I'm going to do something, and I'm going to do it now.
Maybe the question to ask is, where do I want my life to be today? And where am I really going? What is my destiny? What's going to fill me up? What's going to give me the meaning for my life? That's going to give me joy in my life. Not just achievement, but real enjoyment, a sense of meaning and aliveness.